Evening, everyone, and welcome back to the first preview of the season. Hope everyone's doing well. I know it's been a while since we have done a preview. I was just talking backstage. It has been around a month and a half or so, but finally back. Season is obviously starting on Saturday. Hope everyone's doing well. If you are new to the channel, do subscribe. And if you don't know the format, basically, if there's a Saturday game like there is this weekend, we go live on a Wednesday. It was 7 p.m. last season, but because we're at night, it's going to be 6:30 from now on. So, yeah, if you want to subscribe, do like the video as well. Get us in your questions, anything you have about the team, etc. Or if you want to ask Fred, of course, we have got Fred on from the Rovers Report. You've probably seen him as well, doing some really good content. So make sure you go and subscribe to him. Of course, we've also got Neil on as well. How are you lads both doing?
Yeah, all good, mate. First, I just want to say thanks for having me on. Been watching it all last season, and it's great to be on. But yeah, looking forward to the start of the season. Quietly confident, and all good, mate. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, all right, mate. It's pretty much, start once the season gets going. I'm pretty relaxed about it, really. Nothing really. You can't really tell anything about until you're sort of 8 games, 10 games in anyway. So it will just play out to be how it is. But as long as it's back, I'm happy.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just been awful, really. It's just so annoying when the summer's out. I mean, to be fair, it has gone pretty quick though. So that's good. So to a few people, got Pingo in. How are you doing? Louis as well. I'm absolutely buzzing. Of course, Port Vale fan as well. Yeah, they've got Fleetwood at home. Even to Riley, even to Kai. Big up to Penguin as well. Even to Ford on Blue as well. Is it Saturday yet? Can I smell gas? Yeah, trust me, absolutely buzzing. But yeah, we're going to get into it. Of course, we're going to go through everything, surrounding, obviously, pre-season. Get into, obviously, Forest Green side. They have lost some very key players as well, which is good news for us. Of course, going to talk about what areas we need to strengthen. But like I said, if you do have any questions, then please do get them in the chat. We always go through every single comment as well. But we're going to start on, of course, pre-season. I think we played 6 games, and I'm trying to remember because it's usually been loads. Of course, when we had Darryl Clark in the past, he used to do like 12 games plus every pre-season, but there hasn't been loads of games and not a lot to really talk about. It's been obviously your few rumours like there always is. Into Tom as well. Kieran West lost starting, says Regan. Adam F says bit worried about the lack of centre backs. Yeah, we'll get into that. Of course, only 2 centre backs currently, although Luca Hall's been playing. Even into Ethan as well. Jax Ford is back. Who are straight into this lot Saturday. Absolutely. Dale going up saying, I hope we play you in the cup match this season. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's at him, although I wouldn't mind going to Rochdale because I actually missed that game. I still can't believe that I was ill and I missed that game. I was absolutely gutted. But yeah, of course, getting into pre-season, playing 6 matches, of course, can't really tell too much from pre-season. We obviously had the Melksham game where we bagged them, of course. Then you had the Bath City game where we lost 3-1, beat Chippenham 4-1. Of course, you had random friendly in Portugal with Porto where we lost 3-0. Then you had Swansea, and then, of course, Stoke City, the last pre-season game, winning 2. I think that was our only clean sheet as well. Obviously, you can't really take a lot out of it, but it was a good way to end. Starting off with you, Fred. What was your overall thoughts on pre-season? Like I said, you can't really take too much out of it. What did you think of pre-season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like you said, isn't it? You can't really look too much into the results, so I've never really paid attention to that. One week we're losing to Bath and then beating Stoke the next week. For me, it's about getting sort of playing time in the players' legs and trying to get the match fit. And from that perspective, it's a bit frustrating that, you think with Rossiter, Grant, Rodman, Anderson, you want to be getting these players up to match fitness. And obviously, pretty much all of them are doubts for Saturday. I think Rossiter might play, but yeah, I think I'd like to have seen the players get a bit fitter and, avoid those injuries. The positives, I think I haven't been to any of the games either, but it sounds like Harvey Saunders is looking fit and looking raring to go. So
Yeah,
that's good. I think. Did you say is Collins looking sharp as well?
yeah. I think Collins obviously he had that penalty miss, although the keeper was up 20 yards off his line. But yeah, and what I've seen is quite hard to judge because I missed 3 or 4 because I was away on holiday, and then of course the only game I did watch live was the Stoke game on the £5 stream. So yeah, I think he's looked all right. I think he'll be raring to go, especially against his old club as well, innit, on Saturday.
I think it's what you said, Neil, just before we came on. Is sort of you can't really tell anything until 8 to 10 games into the season anyway. So take everything with a pinch of salt. So I'm fairly happy. I would have liked to have avoided some of the injuries, but it's not been disastrous. And yeah, looking forward to getting the season going properly now. Yeah,
absolutely. Even to Chris as well, tuning in, even from Ireland, lads. Deep breath. Here we go again. Hopefully, no slow start. Yeah, fingers crossed. Of course, we haven't made many signings as well, and I think there's been a lot of talk. People, of course, rightly so saying, are we strong enough? Of course, there is still a while until the window closes. Of course, that's the main thing. And we did remember Anthony Evans last season, the sign on the last hour of the summer transfer window on a free, and then the rest is history, as they say. So hopefully, Barton, he'll definitely have something up his sleeve as well. Regan said he was through the pre-season games and at Chippenham. I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Jones gets some minutes. Yeah, he always looks good. I would like to see him get a few more minutes. I think he had a good impact on the Swansea game as well, and he did look good. What was it? I think it was the game where me and you was there, Neil, the Oxford game, wasn't it? And he come on, he looked good. But it's always hard, putting it into pre-season, then coming into League One, even into Rockstar installations as well. I appreciate you tuning in. But yeah, Neil, what's your thoughts on pre-season, as a whole?
It's for me, pre-season is just basically minutes in the bank and coming out of it with no long-term knocks or injuries, to be honest, and we've pretty much achieved that. I've said it to you before, I've never really had any concerns with a Barton pre-season. That's probably the most professional and meticulous that we've had under a manager, really. All the stats are there to be hit, all the figures are there to be hit, and if you don't match that, you'll soon be gone out the door. So they know what the expectation is. I expect us to go into Forest Green in pretty good nick, to be honest. You're always going to have the ones that fall by the wayside, the likes of Rodman, who's just, notorious for it. I don't expect Josh Grant to be anywhere near close to being fit, because I think they're managing him bit by bit. I mean, as far as the start of the season goes, and you're talking about the window, I mean, people are starting to get a bit tense, about signings not happening. I mean, the window doesn't shut for one until the start of September, so there's no big deal there. And ultimately, any manager worth his salt doesn't look to get all his business for the season done in one window anyway. It's sort of this window, much like last season, it will get you towards Christmas, then you reevaluate and see what you need to do at that period. So really, I mean, if we go into Saturday with what we've got at the minute, I'm comfortable. If the window passes and we have what we have, wouldn't be the end of the world. Loans still available, things like that. So it's much of a muchness, to be honest. Like I said, as long as you're in the mix when you get to sort of New Year, as long as you're still within the hunt by New Year, you're good.
Yeah, absolutely. Because obviously, it would be nice to. Obviously, it's completely different, from, of course, last season. Obviously, for one, it's a much stronger league. Obviously, hopefully, we can have a stronger start. I think the first 2 games look good on paper, and then of course you got the Oxfords. But yeah, I trust Barton. I like the, like you said, going into Saturday, I'm feeling pretty confident at the moment. But yeah, like you said, we've still got ages yet. Shuts up. Was it the first of September? So yeah, we still got ages yet. I know we've only signed 4 players. I expect to see a few go out the door as well. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. I mean, of course, getting on to, of course, then our signing so far. Of course, 4 through the door, 2 on a free, 2 we've actually paid for. So looks interesting so far. What's your thoughts Fred, on the signing so far coming through the door?
Pretty smart bits of business, to be honest. It was clear that even though we have Loft and Collins up top, we didn't really have a proof. Collins is more of he can play in behind. I wouldn't say he's an out-and-out striker, and obviously Ryan Loft is a bit of a project. So I think I was really happy with the marquee signing. I wasn't too keen on Norwood, to be honest. I think with marquees, I suspect Norwood might not score as many goals as he has done in previous seasons. I was really happy with Gibbons. I think that sort of came out of a bit of nowhere for Gasheads, but obviously the reaction from the Port Vale fans, it sounds like we've got a player on our hands, and I think by all accounts he performed well in the pre-season games.
Yeah.
Rossiter, I think it's all going to depend on if he can stay fit, because I think if he stays fit, we've probably got one of the most technically gifted players in the division. But it's just going to be, like I said, whether he can stay fit. And then obviously Connolly, that's a great signing, isn't it? I think everyone's happy with that. I think it's really good business by Joey Barton. As Neil said, he doesn't tend to rush into things. I think when looking forward into our potential signings, I'm sure there'll be a few more loan signings coming in before the window closes. But I think, I would like to see one or two more at this stage. But the signings we have made, I'm pretty happy with.
Yeah, definitely. Neil, what about your thoughts? Are you pretty happy with the signings we've made so far?
Yeah, I pretty much echo that, to be honest. It just screams of Barton saying, I ain't bulking this squad out with bang average players for the sake of having them, to be honest. He'll bide his time, and if there's no fits out there, he won't bring anyone in. He'll just bide his time, because more than anything, the nucleus of that squad that he's got now, that's a good group, full stop. To take results out of it, as far as a group of men that like being around each other and working together, he's not going to disrupt that by just bringing in anyone to fill the bulk out of squad. The Rossiter one was good as far as previously worked with him. It's another Scouser in the mix, isn't it, to add to obviously the changing room. It's another one for versatility. He can sit in that double screen, or he can go in at fullback if needs be. He's identified we need an out-and-out 9. Marquis is that. I mean, the way I look at the Marcus one is, if you'd have looked at any other League One club signing him, no matter who they are, whether it be Sheffield Wednesday, Ipswich, you'd have gone decent signing for the division. If you look at the goals that Collins sort of started to score the last 3-4 games last season, across the centre half into a 6-yard box tap-ins, that's Marcus for 15 goals a season. He won't score many outside of pretty much the 6-yard box, penalty spotted best. There won't be no worldies from him. It'll be second contacts, knockdowns, right place, right time. The Gibbons ones, again, didn't see much from myself, but if you was to look at an opposition fan base and say they've lost a good one, you take that as a good sort of CV. The Connolly one was just, no brainer, was it? He was pretty much there, knows the group love him, he wants to be here, got loads of potential. What's he on, 3 years? So there's going to be a bit of money to be made if he does keep progressing. So it ticked all the right boxes. And again, as long as you're not looking at any of them transfers and going, I'm not too sure, it looks like a bit of a woolly one just to bulk a squad out, they're the ones you'd be concerned about, and we've not done that. So all good. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, like you said, when Rovers announced it was like the Bovril, I was like, what is this? And then obviously Connolly, when that was class, when because I thought for a bit we're not going to sign him, especially when they had that clause in, and then of course we go and pay money for him. But yeah, like you said, he was class. Obviously, Corner Taylor, will he come back? I don't think so, especially now they've lost a centre back. But to get James Connolly back is quality. He's class for us. He's good in both boxes. He can use both feet. Like you said, there's still ages and more room for him to improve and to get better. Of course, it's going to be a bit of a bigger test, but I'm sure he'll cope with it. And then, like you said, Gibbons, I hadn't really heard of him, to be honest with you. But like you said, when you see all the comments from the Port Vale fans, and I actually spoke to one, I think it was about a day before, I heard a slight rumour going around Twitter. All the Rovers fans were like, "Oh, Gibbons is apparently signing." And I asked Port Vale Bible, and he said, "Oh, there's no chance he's going to Rovers. It'd only be, someone like Sheffield Wednesday or Ipswich or a Championship club." And then the next day he signed. So that's class. And then like you said, Marquis. I spoke to a Pompey fan who should be coming on the channel, 4-0 written all over it. He was saying, he's not very good, basically, in saying all this stuff. And I spoke to a Lincoln fan saying, he'll work hard, but he's not that good. And I'm thinking, when you look at what he's done in his career so far, I think he's got over 100 in League One as well. I know, maybe at Portsmouth they thought he'd get 20 goals, but he still averaged 12 a season there. And then Lincoln only got 1 in 4 in a pretty poor Lincoln team, really. And I think again they'll do poor. And I think Marquis is a big miss for them. And then Rossiter again. I know he's had his slight injury issues, but I think he's had the pre-season. He's played a few minutes. He looked good against Stoke. So hopefully we can see a lot more of them. Getting back into you, Fred. What positions and how many positions do you personally think we need? And of course, in the comments, do let us know what positions we need to strengthen and how many do you think we'll bring in. And even to Yambi Sims as well. Always loves watching the streams as well, saying, how I miss you boys. It's good to be back. Good to thank God the season's starting on Saturday. But Fred, what's your thoughts on how many we need and what positions we need to strengthen most?
I think I've sort of highlighted 3 areas, but centre back. I think every gashead knows that we need to get some players in there. I think if I was trying to predict what Barton would do, I'd imagine that he'd probably get one experienced centre back in, and then I would imagine that he'll probably bring in someone through the loan market. I think Connolly, I'm happy with him starting at centre back, and I'd probably like a bit of a wise head next to him. Kilgour, I'm a bit unsure about. He's had such a long time out with injury. He has proven himself at League One level, but I think I'd feel more comfortable with a seasoned, like not a veteran, but someone a bit older in that spot. I think we need more wingers. We do have Saunders, Anderson, Collins that can play out there, but we obviously lost Luke Thomas, potentially coming back. But I'd like to see a few more wide men come in. And then I think if Grant and Rossiter weren't so injury prone, I'd feel comfortable with our midfield. But because they're potentially going to be out for long spells throughout the season, possibly one more centre mid. I'm happy with our wing backs. I know Joey Barton said that he wants to potentially bring a left back in, but I think we've got enough cover there. I think if push came to shove, Hall could even play there, or Gibbons. So I think for me, centre backs, wingers, and then one more centre mid. It's good. It's interesting. Like you said, centre back is definitely the one. I'd be pretty happy with obviously Paul and Conley going there. I know Barton's even said, potentially making Luca Hall more versatile, which is it is a good thing. But of course, like you said, you do need a proper centre back with height, because you look at it, we need height. I think is the most important. We've lost the height of course, Connor Taylor. So it'd be interesting. Keep getting your thoughts. If you do have any other questions in the comments, do let us know. And B Sims actually has one for you, Neil. What's your thoughts on Westbrook getting another chance?
As far as Westbrook as a fella, he comes across as a good pro, to be honest. Westbrook gets his head down, works hard. There's no, you don't see him, have a strop, or he don't throw his toys out the pram. There's no bad news comes out about him. I just don't think he fits the bill for us. Westbrook as a footballer, he's a luxury player for me that don't suit what we are. Like, if you look at what our midfield is, it's combative, it's brilliant without the ball, works hard, and then it gives the ball to better players to go and create chances and win games. And as good as he is with the ball, Westbrook, at times, over the course of 90 minutes and a season, he doesn't fit what we are, Westbrook. He could go somewhere, potentially, and be a good fit for a certain club that plays a certain way with certain patterns, but that isn't us. We've bypassed that. I just don't think square pegs and round holes for me. I think Westbrook and Rovers.
It should definitely be interesting to see what happens, because it looks like he's done well in pre-season, but when it comes to obviously League One, it's going to be interesting. If he does well, then it would be good to see, because he come in with a lot of hype after a really good season at Coventry, winning the league, and then hasn't worked out especially on a lot. I think he's got a year left as well, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Kai said it's Luke Thomas. Well, I know someone that works within Rovers, and they said Luke Thomas is coming back on a permanent. Obviously, I put out yesterday. I got a few pelters saying, "Oh, fake news and stuff," but we'll see. The admin, Rovers admin. You can say. There's even a petition I seen earlier. Someone, I don't know if any of you seen that. There was a petition on sacking the Rovers admin because even yesterday they were saying, "Oh, I think it was Sam Frost done questions," and they were like, "Oh, new signing." Then everyone was getting hyped, and then Regan saying couple of centre backs, a midfielder, maybe another winger. Just need the right characters. No need to rush. Yeah, absolutely. Big up to Nippon as well. Appreciate you tuning in. Keep hitting the like button as well if you already haven't. If we can get close to 100 likes, that'd be quality. Even 50, 60 would be really great. And make sure you go and subscribe to Fred as well on the Rovers Report on YouTube. Really good content creator. If you haven't already, do go and subscribe to him. Regan saying Jerry Lawrence has done well. Yeah, I've seen that as well. I think a lot of the youngsters have done really well. But then, like you said, I don't know obviously how many minutes they will get. I think a lot of them will be loaned out. So then, like you said, you do need quite a few players because if you take out the youngsters from pre-season and you look at the bench, it needs more quality, and of course the starting 11 as well. Even to Rob Stavek as well. Appreciate you tuning in. Kelvin, just like electricity, gas is going up. Hopefully, I mean, we will get into our. We'll do some quick predictions in a minute. Of course, I've already done a video, but I want to get. And Fred has done one as well, so make sure you check out Fred's League One predictions. But we will do our top two, our playoffs, and our relegation, and of course predicting where Rovers will finish very soon as well. But yeah, keep liking the video, keep subscribing. We will actually get on to that now. Starting with you, Fred. I know you've done your video, but what you before we do get on to predicting where Rovers will finish, what's your thoughts for the top two and the playoff places first in League One?
For the top two, mate, I think it's pretty hard for me to look past Derby and Sheffield Wednesday. Mm-hmm. I think Sheffield Wednesday, obviously the bookies' favourites. Obviously, losing playoff semi-finalists last year. I think you look at their squad, mate, and it's not really a League One squad, is it? So
yeah, it's crazy, really.
Yeah, like I said, I think they'll win the whole league, to be honest. Derby County obviously have gone through their troubles, but again, some of the signings they're making is just ridiculous. It seems like James Chester. I think they've even been linked with Kemar Roof. The caliber of player that they can get in. I think it will be interesting to see because obviously these players are going to have to gel, and that can sometimes take time. But I think once they do, I think they'll be clear of a lot of other teams. Playoffs for me, I think it's interesting to look at Bolton because they obviously started last season quite poorly, but they've got a lot of momentum coming off of last season, made some good acquisitions. Peterborough will be up there again. They've been down here before. Their owner, their manager, the players, they know how to get out of League One. And in JCH, they've got a 20-goal a season striker. Mm-hmm. I had Oxford in there. I think, they've been flirting with the playoffs for quite a while now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them get over the line this time. And then the other one for me is Shrewsbury. I think, obviously, with Steve Cottrell, he's gone up before from League One, as we know about. And they've made some good signings as well, mate. So, yeah, I think it's weird, League One. There's going to be a sort of a top 10 that any one of them could go into the playoffs, and then you look below that, and it's probably maybe one or two of them could push the playoffs. But I think, from 1 to 10, you've got your Portsmouth, your Plymouth, they're all going to be around there. But that's what I go for the playoffs, mate.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Few quick questions. Kieran Weston, does anyone know why Oxford at home? Because it's Oxford, isn't it? Derby, police, etc. So if you haven't seen that, they've changed it to I think 12:30 kickoff. Kai said at least Elliot Anderson didn't go across the pound or the pond, or obviously I think you're meaning City as well because they were saying, "Oh, is he going to go City?" Yeah, can't agree again. they'll go up saying, I think you'll finish above Ipswich. Wow, if we finish above Ipswich, we're going to be in the Championship next season. Just saying, because if many teams finish above them, I think there'll be Championship. Neil, what's your thoughts on the top two in the playoff places?
Yeah, well, just you mentioning that, I've gone Ipswich to win it. I think with what McKenna's done at the back end of last season, the way he got them going, the recruitment he's done has been pretty strategic. He hasn't gone and just looked to buy and bring in big hitters. He's gone into what matches what he wants, his pattern to play, what suits Ipswich as a team. And I just think McKenna will prove to be probably the best manager in the division, I think, with what he did, like I said, at the back end of last season, the way he absolutely revitalised Ipswich, turned around completely as a football club, much to what Barton did to us, really. But yeah, I just really fancy Ipswich to go and win it. I mean, I said it to you a few weeks back that I think Ipswich will be the ones to look out for, because I think they'll start strong and they'll finish strong, and I don't think there'll be too much in between. They're just a well-run outfit by a manager who's been to places that seen how professional you have to be to go and get the right things done. After that, I think it does fall into Sheffield Wednesday. That just goes on the size of the club, what they can bring in, what they can do in every window. And Bannon's going to be the highlight player for the division again, isn't he? Really?
Yeah, so Greg Bannon, yeah.
With him feeding Gregory, it's going to be goals galore in it for them. Then into playoffs, I've gone Bolton. I think they'll be strong as far as their home form. They've got a bit of continuity now. Their manager's been there for a while, and I think they'll finish in them places. Barnsley, I think, will finish in there. To be honest, I like Duff. I think that's a good appointment. He's someone that won't, take any nonsense. The standards will be high, and they'll have an expectation and a budget to be able to match those top 6 places. So I think they will finish in there. Derby again. I mean, a lot of people think they'll finish in the top 2, but I just think that the whole restructuring of everything on and off the pitch, the amount of players they brought in, it might just, a bit like what we did last season, might take a little while to get into their groove, but I expect once they are in it, they'll finish in them playoff places. And it might be one of them that when they get into their groove and they do finish in the playoffs, they'll be favourites to go and win it because of the momentum they carry with the quality they've got in that side. Yeah. And then 6 for me, I've gone Wickham. Just think hard to beat at home. Ainsworth knows exactly what he needs to get in there. As soon as they get in front, the game's dead. They're just a savvy side, Wickham. They've not lost too many. I know Akinfen was gone, but he's never really started. They've kept people like Tafazoli and the core of their side. They're a bit like what hard to beat, and I just think Wickham will carry on like that.
Yeah, I mean it's tough, isn't it? Because I've gone with Sheffield Wednesday to win the league. I think their team's ridiculous, and it's interesting as well. Even though they brought so much quality in, they haven't spent any money yet. Obviously, I can imagine the wages will be high, probably between 10 and 15 plus grand a week, quite easily with Smith. Ayekwe, like you said, you still got Bannon there, and like Fred said, Wednesday as well as Derby have both been linked with Kemar Roof, and that'd just be ridiculous. And then I've actually gone with Derby second. I do think it'd take a time, but I think a lot of the signings have already played together. Obviously, they'll still need more, but it's crazy. Like when you bring in like Horahan, he must be on 30 grand a week easily, considering he was at Sheffield United last season, Villa the season before. It's just mental. And then like you guys, I've gone Ipswich just to miss out. Although they could easily get in automatic or win the league. And then Barnsley, I've gone to get in there. Peterborough. I've also gone MK Dons, even though Twine's left. I think the way they recruit and play football, I think they'll I think they'll mix the goals between sort of all the attacking players. The next one, though, I want to quickly ask about your relegation places, because this has been a bit of an interesting one. Because I've seen it's been a whole mix, but tell you what, the most interesting one, and we will get on to Rovers predictions. I've seen Rovers has got to be one of the most weirdest different ones I've seen, because I've seen a lot of people have us 14th, a lot of people have us bottom, and a lot of people have us just in the relegation zone. So there's a real mix of, some people think we'll be dark horses. It's a bit crazy at the moment with ours. But starting with you, Fred, what's your 4 teams going down, you think, this season?
So the team for me that I think will definitely probably go down is Cheltenham. I just think the whole way that they were ran and, you know, the systems that they were trying to implement was based around Duff. And I think since losing him, it'll be an uphill battle, I think, for them to get anything out of this season, to be honest. I've gone for FGR, just sort of on a similar basis to that is obviously Rob Edwards leaving. And, you know, a lot of their key players have left. And I know some teams can do it where you can replace those players, but I think it might just be a bit too much for them. You know, the players sort of Bill A. Adams, he's central to the way the team plays. And yeah, again, I just think they'll struggle. I don't know how you found it predicting it, mate. I thought it's extremely difficult. I've gone for Morecambe and I've listened to a few other podcasts and a few bits. And, you know, some people saying that Derek Adams, he builds a gritty team and, you know, they know how to play in League One. But for me, I think they're just a bit over-reliant on Cole Stockton.
Yeah.
And I think it might just be a bridge too far for them this year. And then I struggled with this last position, mate, to be honest. I had Lincoln in there. I know they've got Appleton there, but I think, you know, they've been on a bit of a downward trajectory. But I went with Cambridge. And there wasn't much in it. I just think sometimes, you know, teams can have momentum going up from League Two. And often you'll find that they do well in that first season. And then there's a bit of a hangover the season after that. And sort of contrasting what Neil said about how Sheffield Wednesday are a big club. I know they can bring in players and stuff. I think that sort of thing does matter, you know, attendances where the crowd gets behind them. Cambridge, to me, are a bit of a small team. And yeah, I just think they might struggle this season. But like I said, I mean, it could be a number of teams down there. But yeah, Forest Green, Morecambe, Cheltenham and Cambridge for me, mate.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Quickly go into a few comments, even to Steve as well. I actually seen him at Carlisle away last season, saying, "Evening lads, astute signings by Joe Button so far. Really look forward to this season. Gas are going to surprise more than a few sides. Hopefully, that's what I can say. Because the last time we were dark horses, and well, from some people, we obviously got again. But I think we'll be fine. Touch wood." Kai saying playoffs, Bolton, Derby, Barnsley, Peterborough, MK Dons and Wickham. Relegated, Morecambe, Exeter, Forest Green and Fleetwood. Neil, what's your thoughts on the 4 teams going down?
I think Fred's got it bang on, to be honest. In no particular order, I've got them 4 sides as well. I think Forest Green, they're significantly weaker than what they were last season going into League One. As far as what they've let go and what their recruitment is, they're miles weaker. And I think the Bertram thing's weird as well, as far as they've brought in Bertram from Notts County, and he's another one of these modern coaches where he's never kicked a ball at any level. And that's all well and good when you're winning games, but in a changing room, when that starts to turn and they need to rely on some experience and some nous and knowledge of how to get out of that, they're looking at a bloke who's not even ever done what they're doing. And I know personally, if I was to be in that change room, sat around looking at a bloke preaching at me who's never done it before, I'd probably go, "What you're on about, mate? Like, we're in the shit here and you've not got a clue." So I think that's how it'll go. They'll start losing games and that club, they'll fold. So I think Forest Green will drop. Morecambe and Cambridge are the sort of same outfit for me. Pretty much, you know, living on the, you know, they're going to stay in by the skin of their teeth if they do, because they've got pretty much no budget, nothing really going on in a stadium. They're not exactly hard to beat in their ground as far as it being a fortress or a hard place to go. Can do very little if they need to revert to a plan B, sort of personnel wise. And I've had Cheltenham to go down as well, purely for the Duff thing. I think he held them together as far as a strategy, how he wanted to implement the club from top to bottom. He's basically been highlighted by Barnsley as saying that's what I like, and they've just gone and poached him. Yeah. And I think they are all over again, Cheltenham, and I think the only bit of quality they've got left really is Matt Jay, and who knows if he's going to stick around.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, I've gone slightly different. If I can remember, I went with Morecambe bottom. Like you both said, the reliance on Stockton. Can he get 23 goals again? I'm not sure. Forest Green second bottom. I just think when you lose, I mean, the amount of goal contributions, Kane, Wilson, and Cadden, both finished in Team of the Year, and they both left on a free as well. Both leaving on a free, I'm pretty sure. And they were just unbelievable. I think Wilson got something like 13 assists and 7 goals. Cadden pretty much the same. And when you take that out, and then when you look at, the Matty Stevens, he's out till December, of course, because he picked up an ACL really late on last season. Then doesn't look good. I've also gone with Exeter, although I really do like Exeter as a footballing team. They've only signed one player, and that was yesterday. That was Jamal Blackman. If anyone hadn't seen that, Rovers loanee keeper went from Huddersfield, because he's mainly been back at wherever he was at Huddersfield last season. Went over to LAFC, I think it was, in America. And now he's come back to England and gone to Exeter. I think they'll go down because they've only made one signing so far. And I've also gone with Port Vale. I just think obviously Darryl Clark's a really good manager, but I just think their squad is pretty weak. I know they've made a few signings. Massey yesterday, they signed a Stoke centre back who's meant to be promising, but I just think they were decent in League Two. They wouldn't. I know they got promoted. They played really well, but will they carry it on to League One? I'm not sure. I just think their squad's. I don't think they're nothing special personally. So that's mine. But getting on to our Rovers predictions. Where do we think we'll start with you, Fred? All the pressure's on you to start off with. Of course, I have seen your video, so I know. But let us know where you've got Rovers currently, and maybe you could adjust it. Obviously, later on in the line when we sign more players.
I think it's a bit of a boring answer, but I think we're probably going to be looking at sort of lower mid-table, and I don't think there's any disgrace in that. I think this season is all about consolidation because it's a tough league. There's some big boys in the league, and I think it'll be a good season. I think we'll get a few scalps against some of the big boys, but yeah, I just think if you look at the top end of the table and you sort of look at the teams you imagine to be around there, some of the quality in there is just. It's different to what we're going to have, and it's not necessarily about our starting 11, because I think you look at sort of the core of our team like Belshaw, Connolly, Evans, and Marquis, and you think they probably could get into most of those top teams, but I think it will be our squad depth which will probably lead us to finish in that sort of lower mid table. But I think, as you said, mate, if we get a few signings in, I'm not saying we're going to discover another Elliot Anderson, but all it takes is a signing like that, and you never know, mate. We could kick on, and yeah, being optimistic, maybe just sneak into those playoffs. But yeah, realistically, I think probably 13th down to about 16th. Yeah,
that's pretty fair. Even to Jake as well, big up to you. Yes, Charlie, keep up the work. Appreciate it, mate. It'll be on as well. Lincoln fan, it's going to be interesting because even last season we had a bit of a debate because. Ethel Lincoln would be in the playoffs, and I got their position last season spot on. One of the only few in all the divisions. I didn't get many right last season. Even this season, I'll probably get all of them wrong again. But yeah, big up to you. We'll be on the channel when we do play Lincoln as well. Good creator as well, who's on the Stacey West podcast on YouTube as well. And Fleetwood. Yeah, Fleetwood's interesting. I think they'll stay up. I know they've got a new manager. I can't wait for that though. But Barton against Brown, I actually cannot wait for that. It's going to be unbelievable. 10th to 16th for the Gases, Regan. Even to Brown, so good luck in League One. Appreciate it. All the best to you as well. Of course, Josh K as well. We still love you from last season, getting that goal against Northampton. Alfie May and Cole Stockton to the Gas. Yeah, it would be nice to sign one of them. Even both. Legend. Yeah, same to you, mate. But Neil, what's your thoughts? Do you sort of go on the same sort of wavelength as Fred, sort of 13th to mid-table?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised to finish there, sort of thing. I've got us at about 11th, I think. I just think the way Barton is, he's not interested in taking part. He's going to give it a right good go, and I think that with the resources we've got, what he's going to want to do probably as far as us being good and strong at home, I think we'll be in that sort of second, third pot of teams that we finish sort of higher end mid-table. So I've got us at about 11th. But yeah, there's some clubs there that are big hitters that we won't get close to over the course of 40 odd games.
Yeah, because some of it's just crazy. Also, let us know, I know Regan's left it as well, but let us know in the comments where do you think we'll finish. You could be going with your head or heart prediction or whatever, but do let us know in the comments where you think we'll finish. We'll touch on the Forest Green game a bit more in detail in a minute as well. Yeah, I tell you what, the maddest thing I've seen is like when you've got Ipswich, right? Of course, huge club, and I think their last two signings, permanent signings, they've spent nearly £2 million on them, and it's just mad. Like you cannot, even when you see Oxford getting Jacob Murphy yesterday, I know he was meant to be amazing, but when you get him from the Championship, it's just crazy, really. But yeah, I saw the same. I said 14th. I think if we do much better than that, it'd be really good. If we can sneak into the top 10, Accrington finished 12th last year. There's no reason why we can't better that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Even into Tom as well. Very hard to predict as usual, but if we get a fast start, a top half finish is in our grasp. Jake saying, I've got you 14th. Yeah, I think a lot of us, a lot of people have said that. Even Cod's Vlogs, shout out to Cod's Vlogs and Tyler Rawlinson, the Charlton fan as well. They got us 14th. A lot of people have, but like I said, so it's all mixed really. A lot of people have got us to get relegated. Some people have got us to get dark horses. It's pretty mad really. But yeah, 11th to 19th says Adam. Seriously, Tom loving it, is always winning the league. I think you will be like 13th to 16th. I think you'll finish 6th. Wow, Rochdale, he's confident in us, Imagine that, top 6. That would be insane. But of course, we're going to get on now to, of course, more of the Forest Green talk. Like we've talked about losing the likes of Kane Wilson, who was pivotal to their team. Like they've still gone with the. I've seen, some of their signings they got in Corey O'Keefe, who was at Rochdale on loan last year, and he only went permanent in January, and then he's gone already. He was quality for them. He's coming as a Kane Wilson replacement. But, when you lose Cannon and Wilson, and they were outstanding last season, and when you've brought in, I think, David Davis, an experienced player, was at Shrewsbury last season, used to be at Birmingham, and I think he was at Wolves as well. Reece Browning was there before on a loan spell. It's like Neil talked about, Birchall coming in, was at Notts County, didn't get them promoted. Then he went sort of trying to find the same mould as, of course, Rob Edwards, who left to go to Watford. What's your thoughts on it, Fred? I know obviously we talked about it in a little bit of detail, but what's your thoughts on Forest Green's side? And of course, we talked about their expectations. I think most people in the football world would say, yeah, they're going to struggle. But what do you make of them? Going into the season.
I think nothing else apart from a win will do, mate. To be honest, no game in this league is going to be easy. But in terms of an opening day fixture, I don't think you could ask for a better fixture, really. As we've said, they've lost many of their key players, and at home, a packed mem. I think we just need to be going out and getting at them. I think a key battle for me will be, it looks like Luca Hall will be playing at centre-back. And despite the fact they have lost quite a few of their players, obviously Jamil Matt will probably start up top for them. And he's a quality operator at this level. And I think even against Taylor and Connolly last season, he was bullying them a little bit. So I think, if Hall and Connolly can win that battle, I think that will put us on track to get the victory. But yeah, like I said, mate, we're poor on the opening day.
Yeah.
Especially with Burton the week afterwards, it's 2 winnable games, and get a bit of momentum in early doors, and you never know what can happen. So yeah, for me, I think 3 points is a must, and I see us getting it. To be honest, like we said, they've depleted side, and I think we'll get the win, mate.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Riley as well, also adding to that, saying 13th. Kai said 15th or 14th. Kelly asking a question as well. What do you think of the new club strip? The away one I love. Of course, I've ordered the home one. It hasn't turned up yet. So I'll see. It does. I mean, when I first looked at it in person, I thought it looks, because I'm pretty sure it's the exact same sort of sponsor, the way it looks from the relegation season we had. But obviously it says there's a map on it. I don't know if any of you have got it yet, or what's people's thoughts, whether you can see it better in person. But I love the away one. But yeah, the home one I'll see in person when it comes. But yeah, the away one's nice. Mitchell's just gone first as well. I mean, I don't know if you must be joking, because there's no way. But I mean, you never know. Crazier things have happened. So, yeah. What's your guys' thoughts? Start with you, Neil, on the kits. What do you make of them?
Honestly, mate, I never pay much attention to them. I never buy them. I just don't wear football shirts, mate. So I never buy them. We play in blue and white quarters, mate. I mean, how much can you do to it? It is what it is, sort of thing. I mean, they're fine, sort of thing. If you want to buy them and all the rest of it. The away one's a bit wild for me. It's not my cup of tea, but I won't lose sleep over it. Like I said, kits are the least of me worries, mate. To be honest.
Yeah. What about your thoughts, Fred? Are you more of a football shirt wearer?
Yeah, mate. I initially I wasn't sure about that away kit when they sort of teased that snippet, but no, I think it's nice, and I think Neil might not necessarily be the type of person that wears it, but for a younger fan base, or like people that are into that, it's something different. It's something that we'll look back on, and I think it sort of follows in what's been happening with the sort of commercial side of things at Rovers. That the map on the kit, it's all sort of added features. I don't think I'll be buying either of them personally, but that's not because I don't think they're nice kits. It's just, as Neil said, the blue and white there's not much you can do with it. But I think they've done a good job for it. I just wish they released it a little bit earlier, because every season it seems to take ages, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we were saying that we are quite lucky, because I seen that I think there's quite a few clubs, including I think it's Stockport, not getting their home kit until like November, December, and I'm thinking, what the hell? But apparently, the few people from the terrace that sort of organise all the kits have said a lot of like manufacturers are taking a long time and stuff, and everything going on. Lost scoring 3, so yeah. I mean, I cannot wait to start singing that song, especially at away days. That Lofty song, cruelly away. The scenes at Port Vale. Hopefully, we can see Loft get his. I think he hasn't scored at the Mem, has he? He's only got the Port Vale goal in the league. So yeah, it'd be nice to see him score in front of a packed Mem on Saturday. Yeah, Andrew Hogg around 16th. The home shirt looks better without the black line on it. At least we got them before the season starts. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Neil, I know we talked about it, like I said to Fred before I screen. What's your thoughts on their squad, sort of the players they brought in? You already talked about Birchall, sort of another John Brady sort of thing. Hopefully he's not as salty as Brady. But yeah, what do you make of them? And like Fred said, are you sort of the same thing? Obviously, we've got especially the first 2 games, we've got quite a nice start, but like everyone knows, our starting of the season record is absolutely terrible. It was, I think, the last time we won opening day, I think I was 14. So I think that was 11 years ago. I think the Wimbledon game when Super Adam Virgo, Scott McLeish doing backflips, that was the scene. So yeah, are you confident for Saturday? And what's your thoughts on Forest Green?
Well, we're at home for the first time in God knows how long, so that's a good start. I mean, yeah, like I said, you look at Forest Green, how they've been from the time of obviously winning it and then going up to where they are now. They're significantly weaker than last season. So we should win it. On paper, we should win it, but it's never played on football, is it? And our predictions will probably come nowhere close to what actually happened in the league, because some big hitters all underachieve and some less than that will overachieve. So that's just the way it goes. If you go back to the game, the Forest Green game that obviously we played last season at home, Bill Adams, he ran it from start to finish, and he's a massive miss to them. Like you said, Cadden's gone. They've lost Sweeney, their captain, says a lot. And the Birchwood thing for me is, it's going to be lovely when they're winning, but when they start losing, that could flip right on its head. Because, like I said, you're going to have lads in the dressing room looking at a bloke who's never kicked a ball before. So I don't know where you go with that. I expect they'll go in my ACCA, Rovers, on Saturday for probably one and only time of the season. It just seems like on paper it's a game that we should go and win, to be honest. We might not win it. We might lose. We might draw. Opening day, it will be what it will be. But if you was to put a gun to me head now and said, "Do you think Rovers will win on Saturday?" I'd say, "Yeah."
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, like you said, hopefully we can do it. You ain't really got a better start, especially after that. We got Oxford, Barnsley, and Portsmouth after that. So yeah, hopefully we can do well enough for us two at least. But yeah, like Regan says, I didn't realise that's a proper start. And it 2 points on the opening day since 2011. It is just absolutely insane. But obviously we will get into our score predictions in a minute. But first of all, we will get into our lineup predictions. And I think I could probably guess in saying most of ours are pretty similar. I've seen, Frosty did a thing, and I've seen a lot of people already do their start 11s. I think it'd be probably pretty similar. Maybe apart from one or two, and obviously depending on sort of roster, etc. But we start with you first, Fred. What is your lineup prediction? And do let us know in the comments. Do let us know your lineup prediction first, and we will get into the score predictions after as well. So yeah, what's your thoughts, Fred? Who would you start on Saturday?
It's like you said, Matt. I think the team sort of picks itself, to be honest, with the injuries and the form going into it. So obviously you've got Belshaw in goal, you have Gibbons at right back, Hall, Connolly, and then I think there is doubts about Clark playing, but I've put him in my team, so I'll have Clark at left back, Finley, Evans, hoping that Rossiter can play, and if he's fit, then obviously have him there in that sort of deeper line role with Finley. Got Marquis and Collins up top, and then the only other sort of contentious position for me would be, are you going to have Anderson in there or Saunders? I think on form, potentially you'd put in Saunders, but I'm going to stick with Anderson. I absolutely love the Rhino. I think he gets around the pitch. He's aggressive, tenacious, and he's got a bit in the bank from last season. He's performed well for us. So I'd keep the main core of the team together. And yeah, like I said, if there's injuries in there, I think if Rossiter's injured, you're going to probably have to bring in Westbrook, which I'm not a huge fan of. But yeah, if Rossiter and Clark and Anderson are fit, that would be my starting 11, mate.
Yeah. I think that's pretty bang on, really. Neil, what about you? Do you agree with that, or would you make any changes to that?
Like personnel-wise, it's pretty close. But I've gone with Barton going back to a 3 on the opening day, to be honest. I just think with the lack of sort of ball-winning ability in our box, he might look to just go with a 3 to shore it up on the opening day. So I've gone Belly in goal, Connolly, Gibbons and Hall as a right-sided centre-half. I think he'll go with Trevor Clark and Harry Anderson as wing-backs. He'll play Finley in a double screen with Rossiter if fit, but if not, he'll probably put Josh Grant in there, depending on which one of them is fit. Evans in the 10 with Aaron Collins and Marcus up top.
Yes, that's an interesting one, really. I've not seen any, 5 at the back so far, but it could be an interesting one.
I just think he'll start like that, look at it maybe and maybe assess it on the hour. I just think he might go a bit more secure, a bit tighter in and around the core of the pitch. See because it's all a blank canvas, isn't it, at the start of the season? So I just think he might go to what he thinks is a bit more safer down the middle of the pitch, and get a bit of width in areas if as and when necessary, and play it like a bit of a game of chess, to be honest, and then address it maybe on the hour and go back to a 4 or a 4-3-3, something like that. But I just think he might start with a back three Saturday.
Yes, it's an interesting one because, like you said, you know, Trevor Clark obviously was what I've seen in the pre-season look good. Obviously, he was quality against Stoke, absolutely unreal. It's an interesting because then obviously Grant, I don't think he's played. Has he played that much pre-season? Because I don't think he featured it against Stoke. If I'm not wrong, I don't think he come on against Stoke. He definitely didn't start, and then you've seen our youngsters come on. Yeah, I mean, for me, I would. Regan's got one as well. Belshall, Clark, Hall, Connolly, Gibbons, Finley, Rosser, Evans, Collins, Rhino, and Marquis. I'd do exactly the same. I think stick to what we've been playing pre-season. Like you said, it could be an interesting one because you still really don't know because Barton never says about injuries either, does he? So, anyone doing like the fan hub predictor or whatever, it's always hard. But I'd go exactly the same. Maybe, yeah, if Rosser is not 100% right, then Westbrook will start. Obviously, as we all know, Coots has still got 3 games left of his suspension, which is a bit annoying because it's sort of like last season, isn't it? It's sort of, he played the first 70 minutes and got sent off and was missing for 3 games. So, and he didn't feature, did he? The last sort of 2 games of pre-season because of injury, I think, or getting back up to speed. So it might take him a while. But yeah, I think, yeah, I can't really argue. Obviously all different opinions. Maybe you could go with a 5, like you said, just because that's the only thing I am a bit worried about is, of course, Jamil Matt, his height and his presence can bring players into the game. Very experienced player. So, yeah, even to that as well. All the best for Saturday. That's probably the best game in League One. Sheffield Wednesday at home against Portsmouth. The second game that ended last season as well, with Wednesday winning 4-1. So that should be an interesting one at Hillsborough. But yeah, when we get on to our score predictions, we've already had one from Mitch as well, saying 3-0 Rovers. Get all your score predictions down in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already as well. And do hit the like button if you haven't already. If you are enjoying it and if you are new, do hit the like button, subscribe, and make sure to go and subscribe to Fred as well. If you want to follow us on socials, all of them are down in the description, or going across the bottom of the screen as well. So, yeah, start off with you, Fred. What is your score prediction for Saturday?
I think I'm going to go with a 1-0 Rovers, mate. I think the early games in the season don't tend to have too much quality in them, and I think it'll be sort of both teams working each other out. I'll back us to get the win. I think we'll have enough, and I think the crowd will be a massive factor in it. And yeah, I think Barton will send them out fired up. I think could be a bit tetchy the opening sort of 20 minutes, but I think around the 60-minute mark, our pressure will tell, and I think it'll be 1-0 Rovers, mate.
And what about a cheeky goal scorer? Who are you going with?
I'll go Marquis. How do you say it? Is it Marquis? I always get it wrong when people tell me I'm saying it. Is it Marquis?
Yeah, Marquis, I say. I just say Marquis. Marquis. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll go with that, mate. I think it's like a tap in from Aaron Collins cross, mate. I'll go with that.
Yeah, that's fair. Neil, what about you? What are you saying? Keep getting your predictions in the comments as well. We will go through all of them as well. But yeah, Neil, what are you saying for the opening day? Are we going to get our first win since the Son McLeish days?
So to be honest, I know it's the opening day and everything's a bit sort of up in the air and you can't really gauge anything, but I'll be pretty disappointed if we don't win on Saturday, to be honest, looking at that Forest Green side and what they've gone through and what they've brought in. I mean, I still think if that Forest Green side with what they've recruited plays in League Two, it doesn't win it. You know what I mean? I just think they're significantly weaker than what they were. Having said that, I think we'll probably win, maybe 1, possibly 2-0. I think it'll be sort of pretty they'll feel each other out. I think for all first half they'll go in 0-0. I think if Rovers nick one sort of between 60-70 minutes and then get another one late on, probably when Forest Green are trying to claw something back. So yeah, I'll go sort of 2-0.
2-0. What about goal scorers? Are you going to go for an opening day Lofty?
Yeah, Loft double.
Loft double. That'd be class. To be fair, Loft. He's looked pretty decent in pre-season as well. Of what I've seen from the highlights, I don't know about his actual whole 90-minute games or 45-minute games, but he's grabbed himself a few goals, which is good to see. So we starting with Phil is gone. Would be happy with a point first game. That's pretty interesting. 1-1. Yeah, Regan said 2-1. Gas Lofty last minute winner. Tom Butler gone with a 1-0. Would be nice to win on the opening day for once. Yeah, I agree. I like your tweet, Charlie, about Saunders. Would love to see him play more this season. Quality player. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because he's obviously managed to stay fit and hopefully because that's what it was, wasn't it? He had the injury and then since he had them we were quality really. Yeah, keep getting your predictions in. Jack's Ford has gone with I can predict Coots to score, which is a shame, but 1-0 Gas Collins against his former team. Tom Butler saying it's Marquis. So yeah, there you go. Crackly mic going on here. Hopefully it's all right now. Fingers crossed. BFC Tom 4-0 Marquis hat trick and Gibbons. I wouldn't be surprised, I wouldn't be surprised if it'd be nice to batter someone on the opening day, but yeah, I mean, for me, I'm gonna go comfortable 2-0. I'm gonna go Marquis and Aaron Collins, Anthony Evans with 2 assists to start the season. Yeah, I think comfortable 2-0. Probably won't be comfortable. Rovers is never comfortable, especially on the opening day. But I just hope we can win. Really, I just really do hope we can win. If you've got any other predictions, do let us know. I think we've gone through pretty much everything. Of course, if you are just tuning in now, you can watch it back on the replay. I hope you do. Yeah, have a good one Saturday. Like you said, hopefully we can win. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming back. First preview of the season. Do hit the like if you haven't already. A few more predictions coming in as well. Riley's gone 2-0 Gas. Marquis 1. Rhino 1. And yeah, it would be nice to see Harry Anderson get one as well, so they can use his GIF in his Rhino costume where he could barely see over the top of it. But yeah, pretty much going to end it now. But yeah, I want to say thanks, obviously, for Neil for coming back on. Thanks to Fred as well for first his debut on the channel as well. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Hopefully, we can get you back on as well more this season as well. When is Lofty on the preview? I mean, probably not on a preview, but if you want me, I can try and get him on. Hopefully, my connection isn't as bad as the Belshore one because that was just terrible. But yeah, it would be nice to get some more players on as well. But yeah, appreciate everyone watching. Like you said, if you haven't already, do hit the like, subscribe. If you're tuning in late, feel free to watch it back and leave us your score prediction in the comments. But yeah, hopefully a win, 3 points, and we'll see you back next week on the channel. Up the gas.